Yo, it's clear in 5 minutes. They don't know what's up. 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 Know what's up.
They asked me if you still on, man. It's hot, son. Whew. Yeah. Come on.
Yes.
Come on. Into the black light, exited the mask.
What's up, Lou?
You're into the black light, exited the mask.
Shells.
You're into the black light, exited the mask.
You married.
Into the black light, exited the mask.
Yo, we back again. If you're throwing in the towel, then you're back in sin. We need the Holy Spirit, please let the chaplain in. Here at the front door, chilling with a childish grin. We can now begin. Now the truth be told, we're riding on the light to let the youth get old. And following the one that will soothe your soul and take your bad situation and improve your role to release your flow. It's a long stretch to loosen all the nooses from the baby's neck. And tell the young ladies they should save the sex. And tell the young guys not to break their neck for the place of sex, but get the paycheck. And real women really don't play that. A wise lesson learned really, really way back. I used to okay that. The Lord saved me, Jack, from a life of whack. Come on.
Into the black light, exited the mask.
Oh,
Yeah. Into the black light, exited the mask. You're into
yeah.
the black
You might want to start paying attention on this next verse.
You into the black light,
Just give
exited
me your
the
attention
mask.
for a minute. Damn. Come on. We from the same cut, but playing different positions. A top secret message got the president's attention. Do what you do, just make the good folk listen. And trust me, yo, it's not about who you kissing. There is a plan to see you chewed up and shit out. The devil's burning red from the fire that we spit out. We on to get up, the hell with that down low. Cherish the gift of the wisdom that we found, yo. Still on the mission with the daily agenda. Your head's been cloudy, so I doubt you to remember that I walk with the king of kings beside me. Just like the root in India, Irie. I volunteer, know the Lord didn't hire me. It is the spirit that inspired me. Water of life to show the chief where the fiery. We have no time for those that be acting grimy.
Yeah, I get it.
You see the light now? Boy, I've been talking to y'all for a while. You see, you thought this was for like some type of game. Man, revolution. Yeah. When you free your mind, your ass will follow. That's for real. And some of y'all locked up so bad, don't nobody have to put chains on you. Yeah, you chain yourself down mentally, spiritually. Come on, free your mind, dude. You a king. Free your mind, chick, you a queen. Let me get something with some feel to it, some funk to it. Come on. I think I like that. Can we get some heavy drums in there? More like Caribbean, Caribbean. Yeah. Yes, bounce to this. I'm just a black man, title, yo, you give me that. I like them imports, never push the Cadillac. And would you figure, Mr. Man, while you're kicking back with sick plans to get you stacked, making chickens fat? You know you into that, chilling with your timber cat. Intoxicated to the point, past sinful acts. Be very nimble, Jack, or Jill will get a water back. And have your heart broke just like a heart attack. Look where your power at, no, not the idle cats. It's deeper than tats and hurricanes and old maps. The spirit flows, so my folks throw daps. Meant for the wise as well as the spoiled brats. So you can fold up or either you can fold back. I hold no judgment over those that have chose crack. Terror over habit that has been proven to hold back. With God on your side, you can get your soul back. Yeah, we need some 3 parts on this, man. Yes, sir. I can't carry this shit on the chorus. Come on, line up. Yo, I'm gonna need y'all 3-part harmony on this. I don't know how you can work it out, but work it out. Hope you can see by the end of the night how deep this music is. What is it proud of the man to gain the world and lose his soul? No. Hope you can see by the end of the night how deep this music is. What is it proud of the man to gain the world and lose his soul? Into the room, you feel a certain doom. You might lose your hearing from the sonic boom. Out of the mouth is a sword and I'm taking you out. You try to stop me and I'm faking you out. Man, I wish I had an apprentice to build this work. Collaborate on synthesis. And I hope you remember this. Keep your enemy near to you. Far away, keep those that are dear to you. I hate beer, but I used to drink the brew. Heavily into the little habit turned deadly. I used to have a bud every day and all week. Intoxicated to the point where I couldn't hardly speak. So do the knowledge, that means hold your head. Let the past stay dead and keep a level head. And don't be misled. Remember most of what I said. I'm hot like times in a rock, but you got us hot from working on the block. By the end of the night, how deep this music is. What is it rob the man to gain the world and lose your soul? Hope you can see by the end of the night how deep this music is. What is it rob the man to gain the world and lose your soul? Mike's handed, I'm speaking candid. Understand this is the way that the masses demand it. I have wisdom, but God planned it. General media bandit. I blow flows on beaches and make you wonder where the sand went. The Taliban spent more times in design to destroy cities. My rhymes inspire minds. I'm known as Big Papa, but I ain't your daddy yet. But I could be your bro if you could get the concept. There be many that stand whenever I rip, but it's devastation whenever I rip. I spit flows that hit like mouth on tits, straight legit. You fake rappers need to understand that felonies, gunfights and drugs don't make a true MC. And I will do more than talk this talk. I will defiantly walk this walk. There's no need to spaz. Your nose bleeding while I'm beating your ass. You in the cesspool. Hope you can see by the end of the night how deep this music is. What does it profit a man to gain the world and lose his soul? Hope you can see by the end of the night how deep this music is. What does it profit? Ancient Chinese secret now. Yes. Did you not pay attention in your history class, partner? Wake up. Yes, sir. Partner. Wake up. Yes, sir. Partner. Wake up, son. It is written that there's nothing new under the sun. Nothing new. And that the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. So take your position. Don't you know you are part of that scripture, yo? Yo, you've been getting in the way and what you knock you down. Yes, but we gon' bring the light, yeah. A Max Speed production, baby. You know what it is. I'm known to tell you to fight back. There's no need to sell crack just to live fast. Why don't black superstars simply give back when they know it's a struggle just to live black? Can you picture that, Mr. Aristocrat? I'm coming from the bottom, rising to the top. And conscious is the tone on the CDs I drop. I won't flip-flop like a black bass, but I will put a message in the song before I bust your ass. See, we first class living, worse than slaves of the earlier days. When we adapted the ways of the slave master, I stand upon it, the very rock which put your people in bondage. Just to get 100, the big face kind, and it don't matter if it's making people lose their freaking mind. That's why I'm speaking mine. Hopefully they change yours to pull you out of these streets from these drugs and strange whores. Huh. Is there love out there? Is anybody there? Is there love out there? It's like we died inside, no longer having pride. We're still for rides, a new skill to hide. And like the red tide, go and get our heads dyed.
Hey, baby. Herbo, Delusions. I am Baby Girl Slaughter. Oh, man, what's going on? Church of Lone Wolf. What's happening, beloved? Christ. We're gonna get it started. We're gonna get it going here in a minute, right?
Christ is by his side. Convicted on the statement implied with no proof. Now will the warden cry? Did he kill another?
Excuse me, I've been up since like 3:45, 3:30. I don't know. I've been up since about almost 4 o'clock. We finished this. It's natural, it's very low but natural caffeine, and I need it right now. A kickstart. It's sad when you need something like that, right? Well, actually, I'm full of energy, but I'd rather be asleep right now. Slumbering. Excuse me. Slumbering. Sleep means dead. Just in case y'all don't know that. When you say, I'm going to sleep, it means I'm going to die. Literally. It's a way you can say it in another language, but I don't think y'all need to start learning German or what they consider Aramaic. That would be another way of saying rest, but not rest, because rest means to give up something. Man. Then I broke free. And this is what happens when you break free. You sound like confusion to those who don't know. So I'm gonna do with due diligence that y'all will start grafting and realizing this. I'm gonna start putting raisins in it. Oh, it tastes so good. I did it last night. Man, I was on that toilet. Well, not last night. I was on that. I went to sleep about 7. I make about 2 of these a day, right? I got a bunch of them. And so I put like 15 raisins just to see if the flavor. I had prunes. I was like, oh, no. So anyway, you know what a prune is, right? But anyway, man, listen here. After letting it sit for about 15 minutes, put a little whip machine. Whip. Man, it was so good because I don't like using honey all the time. Even though I got really good honey, I just can't always, Man, listen here. Boy, that vent. Man, listen here. Listen here. Ginger will clean you out. Naturally, right? Captain Spaulding. Anyway. Listen. Man. Because you got to remember, this is really good for your gut health. Man, hey. Oh, no, I wasn't like nasty. No, it was like, hey, whoa. So what's happening, everybody? What's going on? It's good to see everybody. At that time, every day. Yeah, I saw one of your posts. I heard the notification because I always turn off my phone and my laptop, my tablet, everything. For some reason, they turn the phone on every once in a while. I don't know what it was for. I think maybe an update. So I turned it right back off. And I went to Google and turned off sound, this, that, all that stuff. If you go on the, settings, and y'all should know how to do all that now. And I turned it all off. The phone stayed off this time. I'm tired of this crap. I don't care about them watching and listening to me. It's not the issue. The problem is that it's happening. And we're gonna discuss, because that's part of the problem. But the symptoms is what most of us are not really addressing. And hey, oh yeah, I sent you a message, but it said you was on that. I guess everybody putting on that thing that says sleeping hours, because I remember you said how much. I says whatever you sent. Did you send? Because I know I was on the cell phone until you was acting up. I'm not getting, even though I'm getting notifications like the SMS and everything. I'm not getting like the 1, 2, 3. Like it's not showing it even on the Cashapp. Because I started to do, if it gets up to like 75, because it costs like, I think like $1.30 something to whatever. The fees went up on everything. Everywhere these little fake money, it just went up everywhere, right? And so I went over there. I was going to look, and I said, no, I don't want to look, because I said yesterday I was kind of teed because I see people don't want to donate. They think it's a game. But I says, you know what? I ordered a book. I ordered 2 books. I just went ahead and ordered a third one, another one that I want that's dealing with mysticism. I think it's the book is BS, but no. Anyway, I says I'll look today. All right, because I'm not going to give a price. That's like me asking. It defeats the purpose of what I'm doing. It's to get people to be responsible, to share. When I go down and work on the 27 acres, and when Trauma Hawk decides to get it above water level, or he decides to stay there, and I go to work over there with him, I already got a guy in Utah. I've been going on his when he was in Florida working his 17 acres. I was actually going out there. I just don't like to say where it's at. And he's a Hebrew, and I help organize different things. set things up. Is all I can say. All right. But when I leave here, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? Cell phones, all this. I'll keep the laptop. And if anybody else have platforms, I'll utilize that and log in and do whatever. If it's still up and active. I don't think a lot of this will be. I can't be tolerable of the intolerable. I mean, if people choose to be ignorant, just know, and I need you to know, especially you men with your fake. I'm not slapping you. This is for anybody that comes around that's trolling or feels some kind of way. With your fake alpha and sigma. Like I said, I'm masculine. That's it. That's the all to end all of a sentient creation. And only reason why animals get confused is because of all the chemical dilution and pollution. And if you can say otherwise, I'd like for you to, give your sources and references that, allude to that fact. There's more than enough that shows that what's going on, regardless of what's being pushed, there's nothing natural or normal about it. You dig what I'm saying? Nothing. All right. So I'm going out. I'm going to run some more rounds through on the upper that y'all saw the little box I grabbed yesterday. That was a new upper that I had built to a specification. And yeah, I'm going to go and run it some more. I want to put a cherry bomb on the end, but anyway, it is what it is. So how many of y'all heard about the ex-St. Louis police officer beaten by his own colleagues during protests? And he was beaten viciously. He won $23 million. He was beaten bad. But see, why I don't care about him when I think about the so-called Black Panther movement and everything else. What people don't know is the Black Panther movement was created by the feds to further vindicate the fake government's existence and to push a narrative of blackness and of a Negro savior complex. It wasn't created because they use terms alluded to this land, but this is what I'm talking about. Certain Negroes. Yes, Negroes. I don't even want to call them autochthonous. We dealing with them right now because they think that this is an Indian movement. Because, like I said, racism is alive, and it has nothing to do with color. It has everything to do with status and the idea of status. When it was created by a fake Jew. This is why let me say this, y'all. They're putting gold ingots by everything. Why? Because they feel some kind of way. They believe that World War III is going to happen. Everything's going to be destroyed, blah, 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 except for everything they've got built and put in places outside of here. These big crafts that you can't see flying around, things under the water, and everybody else, you're going to, all that stuff y'all doing is meaningless. Now, anyway, as I was saying, I don't care about them because everything that has happened with the so-called black churches and all that, the white churches, everything, because you see how they're going after the whites. They're all racist, but what's the problem with the so-called whites, the light skins, is they're showing that they're pretty stupidly racist. They haven't invented anything. All they did was some of them accomplished something, went to war, and they come back and they gain a couple of 6 to 7 figures, and they think they're really hot stuff because nobody's told the truth. Well, it seems to be some of the straight shooters from Vietnam and Desert Storm are calling forward and saying all these little spec operators, they were dirty scumbag, would lead their men to death as long as they made it back. They're showing them for who they are. And yet they haven't accomplished anything. We're history tellers. I need y'all to be more history tellers. This man was awarded $23 million. His name was Luther Hall, St. Louis. But what the point? I had to take you there. What in the hell was he doing to believe that he's supposed to go into this crowd of melanated people and cause disruption? This is what I'm talking about. So he deserved to get his behind beat. And any other ones that are out there, you so-called Negroes, you go partaking in this, you deserve everything you get. I don't like saying that because, like I said, I've trained maybe over 300 individuals. Because when I was in college, first time, I had a lot of guys who were taking courses that was the criminal, to go ahead and 6 months become a police officer, to go to academy, and they were pretty much shoe-ins. And so a lot of them heard, okay, well, this guy, you know, they were hearing, because sometimes on my break, I would go outside and I have my sweats on. I go to the gym afterwards and, you know, I would do fencing. And they were like, this guy's good. But then I would go into a corner where nobody's at and I would practice forms. I would practice Kung Fu forms, Taekwondo forms, Goju Ryu, Shotokan form. I would practice, go through forms for like an hour, 2 hours. I mean, dripping sweat. You know, got down to 198, you know, a competition weight that I wanted to be at from 275 pounds. And they would watch me, you know, even with my bad knees, I would still do back somersaults and stuff, which was stupid. But I had my knees wrapped, and people would go like, why are your knees wrapped? Why is your wrist wrapped? Right? You know, pushing it, you know, and I would train them. They would say, hey, can you teach me? I said, well, do you know how to wrestle? And they didn't know I studied Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They didn't know. I still practice, actually. I do what we call ghost moves. Anyway. So break out the map. You know, in the college gyms, they have the big fold-out maps for the cheerleaders and all that kind of stuff, you know, tumbling and stuff like that. And I would be choking out like, they'd be like 20 and 30 of them. I'd be choking them out, showing them how to arm bars, this, that, and I would show them some secret things and how to do certain exercises. I couldn't show them everything. That's not what we do when you become a sabonam or you become a sifu or whatever, okay? Dongwan, whatever. And anyone of those individuals over 300, I always say 200, I always attempt to play moderately, who went into the police department, whether it be New York, Jersey, wherever, Camden, Millville, Vineland, Bronx, Syracuse, Mount Vernon, it doesn't matter. All the guys who were, you know, I instilled in them some moral sense of responsibility. And I always talked about the Constitution. And it's important to how they got to where they're at. Because a lot of them, majority of them, didn't know the first thing about the Constitution. Nor the Bill of Rights, the Civil Rights, and everything that we enacted for us natural Indians, natural Indians, and the fact of what they wore and showed them. And there were some Native Americans who would be like, oh, wow, we didn't know that. You know, humble and respectful individuals, not hiding behind a fake government agency and trolling. I hate that. Trolling actually means when you're in the water and you're fishing for something and you're moving around reeds or whatever, but this is what they use, all right? These are the terms. I'm so tired of it. And when you get to that position and you're ex-military and you know that the fight is within you, but you have no guidance and you're dealing with immoral individuals, like a lot of these IDF soldiers, those are frauds. They're frauds. They're not Jews by the narrative. I don't mind them calling themselves that. Yehudians. If you don't know who you are by truth, it's not my issue. Whether dark or light, okay? They're all frauds. They don't know their real history. That's the most turbulent of it all. And these people on this platform, I told you I had 32 names. It's not a joke. And I don't want them more. I told him. I made sure he knew I didn't want anymore. I don't care about who they are. If they keep playing around here, these 32, and outreach, and it's overreach, they're going to sell. I don't care. It's just the way it's going to work. It's the way it works. I don't care what they're told to do or what. In the military, the UCMJ, we had a duty. If it was unconstitutional, if it was against America, we were to stand down and to stand against it. And there were many of us who did, compared to these dumb, because you got a lot of pale skins right now who have been reared by the education system by these fake teachers and professors, and they be done away with. That you need to be homeschooling because they're part of the agenda. You'd be surprised how many are compared to those who really just want to make a living and they'll do anything. That's even worse. But these generation now, you got light skins beating up 90 and 87-year-old light skinned men. The reason why they have the fake status, to which most of them denounce, but they move in racism, which is a status. It's not about the skin color. And then again, it is when it comes to us, but how they act. These people who haven't accomplished nothing other than violence. But when they're in the costume and they're carrying themselves, this is what these so-called elites watch. This is what they manifest. It's further degradation and destruction. And I know y'all watch some of the people I talk about. And I know you see them. You, Pastor Dow, you see this one little, I'm not going to say his name. He goes on live talking against Pastor Dow because of one person that he got out of there. That's an agent. And that's a Fed. That is what they call one paid to do what he does. Because Pastor Dow has accomplished so much, and I say Pastor Dow is what he calls himself. He's accomplished so much, he can run it how he wants to. If he's that religious, then that's who he is. But you see the Fed, the nigga, y'all see him on YouTube. He's talking and Pastor Down. He talks for $6, $7, $8 because he has fools who will listen to him. Mostly Peliskins, but then hurtful beat who can't find themselves Negroes. And it seems to be the case. Somebody had an issue because I said many of those so-called Spanish people are our brothers. Y'all don't get what two distinct people are. Well, they look like them and they look like and look like us. We could say white and black for you people who are less who are more indoctrinated and less informed, ill-informed. But yeah, why do I say that? Because I've seen books that are actually old, and they would say 645, and that would go back to the six, not 1600s. And there was nobody here making a war. Wars were going on over there, but they were different. There was you can read about when you're over, you can read about the mass poisonings. The same thing they use over here, and actually stowing away women to different places, islands, this, that, and the other. And they would sleep with young babies, like 5 and 6 year old kids, and they would bring babies into this world and give them to wet nurses. Women who they says, oh, you can live, but this is what we need you to do. This is stuff that I want to keep away, but what I'm doing is you're going to see those people who come along and start talking about the things. So some people think, oh, you read it. I talk about things before I buy the book and read it. I've been saying this stuff for a long, long time. Just a lot of you haven't been privy to it. I keep telling you it's not a competition. And so those of you who think it's a competition, something's wrong with you. And they're starting to tell this. As a matter of fact, MSNBC and all that, they're starting to talk about how the chemicals, and we have a lot of, I have to say, Arab Americans who have been raised here, nurtured, went to school, and they are doing a wonderful, a beautiful job explaining why there's so much confliction and confusion. They are reaching out more than your own people are. And that's why I have no problem with Arabs. When you see things, and regardless of what you want to say, those are our brothers, because a lot of those so-called Arabs are actually from Shem. I don't care what you think. The Gujar blood that might be running through them is running through a lot of you too, whether it's dark or light. Y'all have been so caught up in the complexities of their distracted way of telling things, and the fact that there are other things in this world you know nothing about. You don't know about me, and you think you know me, and you think every time I say that I'm playing a game. No, I'm giving you a little more insight. Captain Spaulding's going crazy. He's passed away, but I follow him on TikTok. I didn't turn off the notifications. Again, I don't care about him because he doesn't care about himself. And do I say that to be mean? No. I'm saying you don't have time. I went on Facebook this morning to see if Snooze posted any old videos of her mama and the babies and everything, grandnephews and stuff. And because I love looking at that. And to see if baby girl Slaughter and ECD, if she had any more readings or anything. Jamil Shams, I go to see specific people. I go to Signal to see if Kira Meal sent me anything. I go to Instagram to see if he shared anything. I always check like Original Lone Wolf, Max V. I check a lot of you guys, of course, Ganja, Westside. I check to see what posts and what people put up. Because it's not complicated. It's not hard. There's absolutely nothing hard in this world. I'm going to read something I wrote, some notes I wrote not too long ago. And if you want to look at the ex-St. Louis police officer, all right, if you want to go and read his story, his name is Luther Hall. You go read about it, but I don't care. And they gave him $23.5 million No, he's not the only one they beat up, y'all. It's pathetic. But he was in the crowd, instigating, creating how many other worthless Negroes? Worthless. Because you'd be surprised. Who remembers that I'm gonna say this. Who remembers that sheriff, that Negro in Texas, that worthless one who hated his own so bad that he didn't care if they got shot, beaten, and they got him out of there. He was corrupt. Hate his own, and we know thousands, if not millions, like that. Look at this guy, this cop, this worthless Negro who does this stuff on. I'm not saying it out of hate, but you know who Officer Tatum, who's married to the light-skinned woman. Now, why is that? It's always got to be a Negro married to a light-skinned woman that got to be all against his own, who was ex-police officer and is made in 7 figures, and he thinks he's know what he's talking about, but he's pushing black and white. He's young and he's dumb. And they think they can sit down and have a conversation. There's only one. Well, there's a whole bunch of police officers who I respect and have love for. I even chatted with Frank Serpico, when I was in New York. Do y'all know that? When I was talking with Chief Langley, he was like, "Oh yeah, I know a lot of it." He said he knows a lot of us are indigenous to this land. And I wanted to talk to him specific about certain precincts. And he was out of the loop, but he was still well informed. And me and him chatted for like 2 years. And then I was headed over to Mill, and that's when I got married to Luz. And I reached out to him, but his account was gone and whatever. It's a couple years later. This is over like 15 years ago. Anyway, you'd be surprised at the people who I've been able to hold court with. But anyway, that's just my little world. There's many of them who are good, but there are a bunch who are just no friggin' good, sadly. And there's trauma there, whether you want to believe it or not. You know, there are a lot of police. This one guy who I follow on Instagram, Izzo, he works out. He loves Wing Chun like me. I'm not gonna say I've studied Wing Chun for over 30 years because of Bruce Lee. 40 years actually. Wing Chun and Hapkido I studied in East Orange for about several years while I was boxing. Look, it's an hour. It was only an hour, and then the other class was only an hour, and the gym was like 2-3 hours of school. Look, I would run to each thing, and I would be so beat up by the time I got home. And I was slim. People know when I was a breakdancer, I was a slim guy. I was shredded, but I was slim, like for real, like 170 pounds, like 65, 70 pounds at 5'8.5", 9. Because in the military is when I broke 5'10", you know. But this is for real. And I had scoliosis that got bad as I got older because all the heavy weight, hernia bars, if you want to know what those are, lifting 500,000 pound bombs, and my injuries. And anyway, I follow him. I like him. I like his context. And he'll call bad policing when he sees it. And everybody knows what role they played. But you got to remember, people are grafted in. This is about not to beat up on police and government agencies. This is the fact that racism is based upon status. It's not what people think it is. We have been convinced that it's a black and white thing, a yellow and red. No, it's status. But what's the status? You think it's only colors? No. You have the elites and you have the peasants. You have the white collar and the blue collar. It's bigger than what you can grab to. You have the hillbilly, the pale skin Negro and the sticks, and you have those who are the hard workers working the paving the roads and building the skyscrapers. There's statuses, whether it's melanated or not. But the thing against the original people of this land, it doesn't matter if they're from somewhere else. But the original people, which affects everybody in commonality, because there was a time when police, if you was African, they wouldn't, you know. But those shootings happened in New York and Philly started showing a change where they started killing some Africans. And let me tell you, it was not a good thing. Even by way of the Vatican said, ho, ho, ho. But those are the things you couldn't hear about. But when you know families, they'll tell you, no, so-and-so reached out and, you know, we got like, you know, $75 million, which you don't see on the media. But let it be Sean Bell and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's because of the fake Jews. Status. Okay, and they got a problem with me saying fake Jews, but if 87% of converts and they're not even religious, It's just an identity. That's status. The Gujars are definitely not from Shem. Whether they're from Yafet or whatever the freaking frack, it doesn't matter. We know that they're Arab by origin. And they were already a broken people. Where they're from? I told you, the majority of you, regardless of Atlantis, are not originally. This place was founded by your ancestors. I'm not here to talk about them worthless. I have this little, y'all know, what's that brother on TikTok? What does he call himself? I know something now, one, whatever. He's talking about the giants. No, not Tartarians. He's an idiot. He has good context, but he's an idiot. And this is the problem with a lot of our melanated people. He doesn't know anything. He's only regurgitating stuff he finds. So he hasn't done no real research, no boots on the ground. And this is what y'all need to pay attention to. There's a lot of people that don't have boots on the ground. Some are pretty good at sharing information. Just like putting on a costume and performing an outstanding job in the military, police department, or whatever. But who's really performing a good job? The system doesn't want people who are going to be rock stars and superheroes. They want people they can manipulate and utilize. Otherwise, they wouldn't be going over there to learn how to go over there and literally walk out there and harm the indigenous people of that land, regardless of them being breeded by the fake Jews. That's what you, and then they come back here and they apply it, and you don't know nothing because you don't have no say, so you don't go to the town hall, city hall meetings or anything to say no more. Right now in New York, the disgrace of this fake Eric Adams, this worthless Negro, and all the other people with him in Chicago and everything else, talking about they're going to get $4,000. They're going to give them a card so they can buy food, this, that, and the other. Now, it's not a benefit, sadly, because they're going to, the same stuff that's happening to you is going to happen to them. Now, there's different individuals who get food given to them that come from someplace that's not going to the stores. I'm a witness. I've had some of them speak to me. But it's going to be balanced. I don't care what they think. There's going to be balance. You better believe it. It's going to be a lot more than that, but can't say everything. Okay? You see, I put on my holy shirt today. I actually buy these like this. Don't get it twisted. I want to read this. CIA, this is going to be kind of comical at the same time. All right? I'm not going to go to CIA.gov. I don't give a damn what they put in. I'm going to go to Georgetown University or the New York Times. Let's go to New York Times first. And then I'll read my notes. All right? CIA data shows a 14-year project on controlling human behavior. Now, this was July 21st, 1977. Go figure. By Nicholas M. Moore, a special to the New York Times. Now, you can go ahead and you can actually pull up the actual news article and read it. So you know that whenever they give this, it's not like they had to declassify something. It's gotten worse than that. But I want you to have this, visualize it without perverting what's already perverted. This is a digitized version of an article from the Times print archive before the start of online publications in 1996. To preserve these articles when I was forced retired from the military. As they originally appeared, the Times does not alter, edit, or update them. Just giving you a little forward, okay? So, Washington, July 20th, the Central Intelligence Agency conducted a 14-year program to find ways to control human behavior through the use of chemical, biological, and radiological material. According to agency documents made public today by John Marks, a freelance journalist, that's why I told you, they're not of America. Just because they select people here don't mean they're of America. They're not for America. They don't benefit America. They only benefit their interests, which is foreign and fake-ass Jews. Mr. Marks, an associate of the Center for National Security Studies, asserted at a news, and any one of them that wakes up, they off them because they don't know how to come. I'm not saying there's not good guys in there. You just need to know this. I don't give a damn about them, but I'm just reading it so you know why you're the way you are. Mr. Marks, an associate of the Center for National Security Studies, asserted at a news conference that Adam Stansfield Turner, director of Central Intelligence, in a letter to the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence last week, seriously distorted what the CIA research programs involved. Downplayed them. Mr. Marks said that based on documents about the program he had received under the Freedom of Information Act, for those who don't know, you can actually apply for any kind of information. Not saying you will necessarily get it. He had concluded that Admiral Turner, William Cooper, thank you. Admiral Turner seems to be practicing what used to be called a modified limited hangout when he called the agency's activity a program of experimentation with drugs. To be sure, drugs were part of it, he said, but so were such other techniques as electric shock, radiation, ultrasonics, psychosurgery, psycho-friggin' surgery. You ever see people getting worked on their head and there's really no local anesthesia and the person's doing tasks? I would suggest you look for those videos. Psychology and incapacitating agents, all of which were referred to in documents I have received. Now, you know, in South America, there is a flower. It's white. You can give it to somebody. Be careful, because too much is like anything. It's bad. You can give it to somebody and they would not remember, but you can have them do any and everything you want. Literally. It was found in certain canned foods at one time, if I remember right. Now, the documents made public today and the disclosure by the CIA last week that it had found another cache of previously undiscovered records suggested broader experimentation on unwitting humans. Well, we know about what they sprayed on the coastline in the 70s of California. We know about what they've done in the prisons in New York and all the other prisons. We know about what they were putting in the waters, drinking waters in New Jersey, and so on and so on. And you know what they're doing right now. And they want to downplay it. Anyway, and it's not legal by any way, but because y'all are running around with this black and white, this goofy status and racism and warring and fighting, if y'all was really who you really were supposed to be, I wouldn't be sitting here talking about, hey guys, could you cash at me? I wouldn't be, that's just an example. I wouldn't be saying, hey guys, I would like to see y'all come and travel. You guys would be running over here to learn something without all these apparatus. And now I'm not going to sit on here and tell you all. And that's a fact, and I know it. But I don't expect you to know. So therefore because you have a hard time believing, because there's no such thing as a belief. Anyway, humans by the intelligence agencies are as paid researchers. Anyway, suggested broader experimentation on unwitting humans by the intelligence agency or as paid researchers than had been publicly known before. Mr. Marks said he had obtained or read about 1,000 CIA documents, many of which were, those are the ones, you get what I'm saying, were never turned over to the Senate Intelligence Committee. All right, that's the SIC. We read about that. For its 1975 investigation of agency activities. The reason why in 1970, they came out talking about the fact that they can look through you at the TV and they had to stop it. And also the fact of how they were using the TV and certain, and the media to control the narrative. CIA spokesman declined comment on Mr. Marks' charges. However, Admiral Turner told newsmen after leaving a meeting with senators that the agency was moving swiftly to review the documents it had found. Now, Mr. Marks distributed 20 documents that describe the following incidents, among others. In 1956, the CIA contracted with which was originally OSS until after the League of Nations before UN, OSS before CIA until after World War II. In 1956, CIA contracted with a private physician to test bullbocapine. I hate this. It's called bullbocapine, something like that. I forget what it's called, but it's a drug that can cause stupor or induce a catatonic state on monkeys and convicts. And convicts incarcerated at an unnamed state penitentiary. The agency wanted to know if the drug caused the loss of speech in man, loss of sensitivity to pain, and loss of memory, loss of willpower. And then later y'all will know about Thorazine. A letter from an unnamed CIA official in 1949 discussed ways of killing people without leaving a trace. I believe that there are two chemical substances which would be most useful in that they would leave no characteristic pathological findings, and the quantities needed could be easily transported to places where they were to be used. The letter said the letter also suggested exposure of an individual to X-rays, which a black woman created, a melanated woman, an autochthonous woman, or to an environment in which he would freeze to death. If these methods were too difficult, two methods needing no special equipment, the letter said, would be to smother the victim with a pillow, Martin Luther King, or to strangle him with a wide piece of cloth, such as a bath towel. And you know what that's called. The old piano cord. And it goes on and on and on. In 1952, 2 Russian agents who were suspected of being double spies were interrogated using narco-hypnotic methods under medical cover, which would later be truth serums. The document said the 2 men were given sodium pentanol and a stimulant. One interrogation produced a remarkable regression, and the paper said during which the subject actually relived certain past activities of his life, some dating back 15 years, while in addition, the subject totally accepted Mr. Name deleted, redacted, for those who aren't aware, as an old and trusted and beloved personal friend, whom the subject had known in years past in Georgia, USSR, the original land of it was called, where they found melanated people who would later be called Abkhazarians, the original people of the soil, to which you can't even hardly find now, but there are many melanated people still in Russia. Trust me. A summary of a 1953 meeting reported a suggestion that the CIA worked with scientists of an unidentified foreign government since that country allowed experiments with anthrax. A summary of a 1953 meeting reported a suggestion that the CIA worked with scientists of an unidentified foreign government since that country allowed experiments with anthrax, a disease contracted from infected cattle and sheep, and the United States did not. Lies. The document given to Mr. Marks were heavily edited. Apparently, you know what that means, redacted, for security reasons, but they showed that even while the CIA was operating this program, was conscious of its questionable nature. On one 1950 memorandum on finding psychiatrists to conduct experiments, many of them are sociopaths, racist, dumb, believing in a status. They groom them, party. Hey, we could really use, your hands. Magnificent. It's just like the Chinese. They went around in the 60s. And they would gather people up because they needed slaves. And they wanted to get rid of religion and a belief in God. We'll finish this in a minute. So they would go around and they would have people who who was always for the red. And they would sit down and they'd be conditioned to go, hey, how's it going? Hey, you read English, don't you? Because now they needed to groom the people that hate of people and never had problems with them. This is all the government's working in collusion, all the government agencies. And so they would sit there. Now they've already murdered. This is before Tiananmen Square. They've already murdered people. So what they would do is, I spent a while, give a piece of chocolate, a glass of wine, a fat steak. And then they would pull out a book. Hey, can you read this? Dish out. Where they would speak. Well, yeah. Oh, and they would read. And they would beat this person down to death, or take a family member, put them on stage, and ask them what they believe, and knowing exactly what they believe, and they would literally murder them on stage. That's fear. And who would they use? The youth, who they've groomed in their system without the parents, the grandparents' knowledge of knowing. You have that now. And that's how you had the Khmer Rouge, the red turbans and everything like that, the killing fields. And then you have French and so-called Americans, German, Dutch, and them going over there fighting of people they had no business fighting, who they utilized to conquer the land of Xi and even the land of Japan. It's the same thing. This is what these Gujars do. You think it's not an experiment? And then they turn around and say, well, we need people to teach English. We need to pick up their ways. And they put it out there, and they start by first conditioning them in their education camps in schools. And they only kill family members and they don't have to, because they want to instill fear. And then they want to exalt them. So they feel like there's something. And then now they become part of it. This is conditioning. You see it today. You just don't know how to stand up and call it, because y'all choose to be comfortable in the little world they gave you that they're going to take away from you because you don't know how to listen. Again, one 1950 memorandum on finding psychiatrists to conduct experiments noted that one applicant's ethics might be such that he might not care to cooperate in certain more revolutionary phases of our project, very deadly ones. But it said another candidate's ethics are such that he would be completely cooperative in any phase of our program, regardless of how revolutionary it may be. That's what I meant for the second one. But the first one would be objective. In 1963, Inspector General's report that apparently resulted in a program being discontinued noted the concepts, it never was, but anyway, concepts involved in manipulating human behavior are found by many people both within and outside the agency to be distasteful and unethical. That's when they still had people who were kind of stand-upish. But when you have focus on the original people of this land with all these new terms created by these Gujars, that's factual. You can see it in a plethora of information. I mean, they got the lights right now. They can pull out and shine a light and make your heart mess up. You think I'm kidding? When did we go from what you call those the car lights, incandescent, which were not harmful and somewhat beneficial to these them bright lights? What do you call them? You know what I'm talking about. These things are detrimental to you. But the first thing Biden did was say, no more iridescent light bulbs. We're going to use these big old, you know what I'm saying, these old super bright lights in your cars. And they're blinding people and they're causing retina scars and damage. You can look it up for yourself. Don't take my word for it. All right? Look it up for yourself. Okay? Anyway, back to it again. In 1963, Inspector General's report that apparently resulted in a program being discontinued noted the concepts involved in manipulating human behavior are found by many people both within and outside the agency to be distasteful and unethical. Well, they done pretty much cleared it up, so now everybody's in there doing something unethical. According to Mr. Marks' documents, and an earlier, as I was talking about China, an earlier, North Korea, it goes on and on, an earlier Senate investigation, the CIA conducted secret medical experiments from 1949 through 1963 under the code names Bluebird, Artichoke, MK Ultra, and MK Delta. The CIA Inspector General's report in 1963 described the program as the research and development of chemical, biological, and radiological materials capable of employment in clandestine operations to control human behavior. And they were used to people, so that tells you that it's not for your protection. And it's easy to graft anybody in and get them in there. And they've used it just like Russia used a lot of so-called Africans in the Gulag and that the military that was doing some real fighting. Like I said, there's many so-called black folks fighting on the Russian troops. Yeah. Same thing here. They've used many certain military individuals to do some clandestine operations. You better believe that. 5,000 new documents. Last week, Admiral Turner announced that the agency had discovered some 5,000 documents pertaining to the program that were not available to the Senate Intelligence Committee in 1975. They are financial records of the various experiments and include the names of doctors and medical institutions that performed the tests. You have them placed people right now. Today, Admiral Turner gave the members a closed-door briefing on the new material. He will appear before a joint public hearing of the Intelligence Committee and Senator Edward, I should have turned TikTok off, Senator Edward M. Kennedy's Health Subcommittee on July 29th to more fully describe the new findings. The Intelligence Committee staff will begin studying the documents later this week. Under the Freedom of Information Act, private citizens can obtain. I'm about to turn that goofy, these some goofy people on there. They're heretofore secret government documents, provided they do not endanger current national security matters or disclose matters that could invade the privacy of other individuals. Mr. Marks charged that it had taken him nearly 2 years of legal pressure to disclose the material he had received. He said he had been promised the additional 5,000 documents before the end of the month. Now, there is more to the article you can read if you choose to. This is the one from the New York Times. The Georgetown University, we already know about Georgetown. And if you want to get into that one, it's about the same. Harg Nicholas M. New York Times from that. And that is because that's where it all started from New York Times. And it's all the same information, even in CIA.gov. If you go over here, you'll see it's from the New York Times. Okay, when it pulls up, it's going to be, and it's from the New York Times article. Okay, so just in case you're doubting it, I know it is. Okay, I've read them all, and it's a lot more. And I'm not sitting here to beat up on no government agency. I like some of the work they do. But it has to be a balance. And I continue to tell you that. Now I'm going to read some of my little notes that I made some time ago. Not too long ago, just some time ago. Let me, I don't want to drink a whole lot of teas, but I got certain teas that I'm supposed to be drinking at certain period of times. And this is dandelion root. I'm trying to hold off. It's steeped for about 30 minutes now, huh? 50 minutes, almost an hour. That's stupid. Don't want to leave your tea bags in that long, people. That's just dumb. No honey, no nothing. Just straight up. And it's dark. Robust as boogers. Oh, that's hot. Okay. Give you a minute. Open. Okay. So again, appreciate everybody that's come in. What was that, hun? Poems, I think. Chanel, Handler, too. Oh, all of them are. Anybody in there in the music industry, hun? Go in my backyard and pick some more dandelions. That's what's up, baby. Humber French, what's going on? Yeah. Humber French, what's going on, beloved? Thank you, hon, for putting that up there. Losing Manny, welcome to the asylum. Yeah. I like Earth Speaks from TikTok. Have you seen? Yeah, me and him friends. Yeah, hon. Yeah. I'm Baby Girl Slaughter, of course. And why do you think I went back over there? People were like, yo, you coming over to TikTok? You know, they want followers, they're getting paychecks. And I was like, yeah, William Sosa. Are you from East Orange, bro? No, I lived over there. I'm from this land. I don't recognize all these states, but I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I used to box, Dewdrops and PBA in the 70s and 80s. I used to live in Newark, too. Front Street Projects. But most of the time we go to Muhammad Ali training camp instead of grassroots. Let's go ahead and read these notes. It starts off with Day Live. It's one of my notes. It's, you know, I read a lot. Number 1, vaccines never required nor never needed. I have a ton of books because I like to look at the past, and I want you to first hear it out. At least not before the Gujar showed up with their conquered, perverted children. Now, y'all probably gonna think I wrote this recently. No. There's a reason why I talk the way I do. I don't talk without some source or reference of information. All right. Again, they lie. Vaccines, 1, never required nor needed. I knew my great uncles, and I knew my great grandma. So anything they want to control and say that control nothing here. I'm white and Indian. Would they want to play status games? We can do that. At least not before the Gujar showed up with their conquered, perverted children. And I don't say that with hate. I don't really have that. Number 2, wars. A history made up to push division, and then New Age phenomenon or chaos by way of wars. And the rumors of wars to bring more real wars by the narratives of pure deception and those whom are poor choice makers. I'll read that again for you. Wars, a history, not yours. You suffer from it though. Made up to push division. And then New Age phenomenon, which is chaos, by way of wars. Because my great uncles didn't have chaos when they were children. Up to that Civil War, I told y'all, the fictional Civil War, they were fighting foreigners coming off of ships, left and right. And some traders here who were subplanted. Y'all have no idea. There was no damn Civil War, 1776. That was 776. Anyway, wars to bring more real wars by the narratives of pure deception and those whom are poor choice makers. Like when they say George Washington, it's a Negro. And that's not, and that fake standing on the ship, da 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 da. Well, if the white power narrative is correct and that's what they push, then that means why would he put Negro teeth in his mouth? Chop down a cherry tree? Boy, they done lied so much y'all can't see past it. So it keeps you far from the truth and permissible to everything that's happening. And that's why you have so many sellout Negroes who can't accept the reality of the position they took. And now with the focus being at the pale skin, you have the most hideous of light skins running around in costume who should not have it, who have more mental illness than anything. They're attacking everybody. 3, unethical obedience. Unethical obedience. Do y'all know what that means? Unethical obedience. It's not about just subjugation and the fact that you're a sociopath. It's just unethical obedience. Dumb people. You will adhere to what we say, or else you will, in ignorance, accept whatever narratives we give. And regardless of truth, you will die, or we will punish you for speaking against our perverse nature and any hindrance of what will happen anyway. Would you like for me to read that again? Number 4, we gave you a God because you are too ignorant to see you are gods. We tell you all the time. And we will do everything to keep you ignorant of this. And when you realize you are capable, we will destroy everything and emerge to do it differently next time. Reprobate mind remind you of anything? Or reprobate state? Number 5, cravings. You crave things that are no good for you, but you don't know how. Through experimentation and your lack of sugar, salts, everything that's from slag. Beet sugar is the most unhealthy thing in the world because it's beyond processed. How many of you wake up in the morning and you got to have a cigarette with your coffee, and you got to have eggs, bacon, and toast and grits? Your body hasn't even finished resetting itself. That is not how your ancestors move. But when they tell you a slave narrative, or they push some out of this world, you're going to be special forces and burning up many calories. So you got to eat a ton of this, that. No, what you're doing is taking over processed caloric intake and carbs that, because you're young and you're burning it all, you're destroying your system slowly. And ergo, why the majority of those individuals today, not from my time in the military, but from today, their testosterone levels are below mine. Lies. The fact that everybody lives by lies. And some aware, but they don't have an answer. So the resource of contaminated thinking or unethical obedience, well, I'm going to live and do as I please. Aleister Crowley's do as thou wilt. Think about it. Blame. It is easy to put the blame outside of yourself, because usually when you blame yourself, well, you tend to off yourself, which is not a good thing. And fear. Again, unethical obedience. But there's nobody there to give you a direction in another manner, to guide you in another way that may be, how you say it, beneficial or helpful. And if religion was the answer, then why are so many Muslims cutting off heads, and why are so many Christians still fighting and killing one another? Betrayal. That's like vitamins and minerals today. Well, they took all the minerals that allow you to think, right? They took all the natural vitamins. And without those things, how can you process thought? So you will always betray yourself because you're not aware. And then when you do become aware, it's stagnated. Again, we have unethical obedience. And therefore, they can see that you have not attained your true godness. Your royalty is your existence. You will be the people, the subjects, the straw man. You will be everything they have created you, and they told you before you existed as it. So betrayal is self-betrayal because of your arrogance, your ignorance, which is not a bad word. It's just you won't realize it, nor will you accept it. How can you when your brain is not functioning properly, when it conspires against you by design and creation? Pain. We seem to be more of the drama, feeling, emotional, unstable individuals more than ever existed. So what is pain really? Isn't pain a construct that we further immerse ourselves in? Imagine taking that same focus and power and moving it away from pain to enlightenment, which some of you are managing to do. But listen, pain, these are manipulating factors: cravings, lies, blame, betrayal, pain. those can be used in the opposite. I've been saying over 30 years, wow, everything's backwards, reverse, upside down, and inverted. And people said, are you crazy, Red? The world is fine. Nigga, you went and saw Star Wars. You think, man, if you don't get away from me. Now listen, what do those allude to? Destruction. Tell me where cravings, lies, blame, betrayal, and pain, gluttony, greed, blah, 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 envy doesn't lead to destruction, which is a form of chaos and death. This is my notes. This you can screenshot it if you want. This is not made up. These are my notes. Just think about this. 3D printed meat, and this is what I just added this morning to this, because I had to go find it. I had to add this to it this morning in the brackets. Just think about this. 3D printed meat. Meat made from human cells, meat made from excrement. 3D printed meat from meat cells. They don't even know what the long term how that is. Human meat being grown. Seriously, San Francisco, people are eating it right now. And you see about coming out of the way to Israel and North Carolina, and now over here in LA, 3D printed beef and chicken. And Japan, not too long ago, started making meat out of excrement from your poopies. Look, this is not my work. I'm not making none of this up. This is references, sources, and information out there, so nobody can come saying, "Oh, Red." Okay, I know. Most just can't see it. Yeah, that's right, hon. Hey, what's going on? And we don't have to eat meat, but that's why they want to put, and they have been. When they told you they were already doing it, mRNA in the vegetables. I actually have the article. I have the article up here, and there's 3 of them. And I was like, this has got to be a lie. No, they've been doing. It's the one thing. The word wasn't even experiment. I peel on apples. And they're telling you in your face that, well, we're going to exterminate a lot of you. Dubai, the fake Prince, the King, went over there. Sadly, they seeded the clouds and they caused a major flood. Come on, guys. We're gods. Hey, Kiramio, what's up? Pedro Vito, what's going on, Mihamde? What's happening, beloved? I hope this was informative. I hope you get something from it. I'm going to sit back. Well, I'm going to go outside, actually take my chair outside, take this off because it's a little warmer now. I put it back on because I thought it was going to be kind of cool today. But the sun's out. I'm going to go out there, let the sun hit me, take my shirt off, let the sun beat me up. And I'm going to the range. And this baby right here, oh my goodness. And put that through. I'm not going to record it. Done with that. And the brothers and everybody come, we'll record that and we'll share it. You know what I'm saying? Nate Reese, what's going on, beloved? It's good to see you guys up in here. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. Like I said, I ordered a few books yesterday, but I'm not going to order no more. And like I said, I wouldn't have it up there if they weren't playing the games they're playing, but they're playing it. Hey, Charlie Johnson, what's up, beloved? Huh? What was that? Hey, cold front coming through. Yeah, right, baby girl Slaughter. Yeah, that's what it's gonna be really nice. So I'm gonna go out there and get all the vitamin D you guys can. You hear me? Get it all, because there's more to it than just vitamin D. Regardless of what they're doing, ground, hug a tree, lay in the grass. Stop using Orcon and all those chemicals. Me and Maurice had it. There are people who use natural. I work for Sears Termite Pest Control in Florida. She worked for them too. So it's pretty cool. This is good stuff. Appreciate that, hun. That's my Cashapp. I wouldn't be using the Cashapp if they weren't hiding numbers. And I keep finding out more and more and more. Like when you discuss certain things and talk a certain way, because you got to remember, I decided to do this when they were already starting to do the game. The game already been on. So I knew it would come around to them manipulating numbers and this, that, and other. But I'm going to say what needs to be said. I'm not going to sit here and entertain the foolery. Don't hate it. But I can't say everything. I can't say everything. And y'all should just know that. And there are people who come to visit it, and they know. And lately, I've been really divulging and sharing things. And like I say, Timonius, Ganja, there's a few people that know. Chad, my brother over there, you know, if he was to sit here and he'd be like, yo, man, y'all not listening to him? He would probably say that to y'all. Are y'all something wrong with y'all? And I don't want that to happen either. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about we Indian. I'm talking about there are other things that are important that just, and me saying it like that right now is not really good because it's inform you to which you're already informed. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man. Anyway, I appreciate y'all. Go ahead and sign off. I'm going to sit back and enjoy this little bit of tea. I'm taking my butt outside with my little beach chair. I'm going to sit directly in the sun, get up, do some squats and stuff like that. Dr. Bobby Price. I like getting fruit and stuff from Bobby Price, but right now I'm going to leave him alone. Anyway, I appreciate y'all. You know it's always strong. I'm eternally bonded to y'all. Okay? Eternally bonded. My sisters, remember, it's all about the flow of life, right? The circle of it. Y'all complete it. Actually, you can't say you started, but you complete it. Men, we protect that energy, the star power, because we're the strength that makes sure and assures protection. And if we stayed that certain order of manifesto, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in, even if it was Masada to the last breath or the last standing person. Sadly, you're not controlling the narrative because you choose. Remember, it's all about choices. You choose weakness over death. And if you ask me, weakness leads to death. See you guys later.